what they call this, the big screen.
Yes.
Which one are you seeing now? Is it the presenter screen?
We can see the full screen po.
The full screen. So it's not the presenter screen. Okay. Thank you for that, Nick. So my name is Cheryl Antalais, and I'm the team leader of AUG Philippines. So it's one of the branches of AUG Global. So as Nick mentioned earlier, AUG has already been in the industry since 1995. So we are one of the largest outbound student placement center, and we have partner universities in many countries like Australia and New Zealand, UK, USA. So all this in this slide. So, and we have 23 offices in 7 countries. So we make sure that we assist students and provide unbiased education advice. So all our counselors are friendly, and we do deliver personalized counseling for our students. And then, how can we help you? So we know for a fact that there are so many options for study destination. So a lot of students here might still be confused which countries would be best for them or suited for their study needs. And we know also for a fact that there are hundreds of universities, and this is just only a few bunch of the universities that you might be familiar with. These are some universities from Australia and UK. So first off, as a counselor of AUG, we help you choose your institution. So how do students choose their institution? It can be for the course availability. So let's say I want this course. Where is this course available? Because not all universities may deliver the course that you want. Or there are some universities that have that are course specialists or have strengths in some of the topics or courses. And then, of course, budgets. These are all the concerns of the parents. So it's some students, they will always tell us already that we have a budget and this is our budget. And then we are able to shortlist or narrow down their options because of that. And then, of course, the entry requirements. So some students will already approach us with their final results, and they'll be able to determine which universities can take them so we can pre-assess. And then location also, where do students want, whether they want something far away like UK or Canada or USA, or somewhere nearby like Singapore, Malaysia, or Australia. And then, of course, the recognition. For example, let's say after you finish your studies, where my credentials, say for example, medicine. So if you graduate from medicine from a certain country, it doesn't mean that you can practice medicine anywhere. So what happens is we will also ask you, where do you want to practice your medicine course? So we will know where you can take that medicine course. Okay, and also the environment. And of course, there are times where we have students who are a bit conscious about the university ranking. So we'll be able to tell you more about this as well. Then, of course, we want all the students to know all their options. So this is an example of the Australian education system. So for this Australian education system, we always tell students where they can get in. So normally for those students who are in year 11 or grade 12, they can, if you will see in this chart, you can enter through foundation or diploma, or even direct to the bachelor's degree. So all this, we will be able to determine for you. Next would be, we are able to connect you to the university. So just like what we are doing now, we'll be connecting you with Macquarie University, one of our feature presenters today, and you'll be able to ask them questions directly about the universities and whatever courses that you might want. And then, of course, we can walk you through the whole application process. So first off, we will pre-assess your eligibility. We make sure that you, as much as possible, 90% accepted in the programs that you will try to get into. We can also certify your documents because these universities are our partners. So you don't need to go to any notary public anymore so that you can, have it notarized and all that, because the universities recognize our stamp. So with that, they won't have to require you to send your original results to them anymore. Then we can provide and check your application forms before you can submit to the university, or we can submit it for you also. Guide you through the whole acceptance stage, and of course, assist you in the visa application. The whole, personal statements of purpose, study plans, name it, we know more about it. And then what else we can do for you? We can also help you arrange with accommodation because we have also our private accommodation partners. We can also assist students in their flight bookings and tourist visas. That's for the parents if they want to go along with you. And then the opening of bank accounts, because we do have, like, for example, Commonwealth Bank in Australia. They are our partner and we can open a bank account as early as before you leave going to Australia. And then, of course, we do have a lot of seminar series that can help you at each stage of your application. There can be institution webinars or, focused career information sessions. And then after that, you can do one-to-one counseling with the institutions of your choice. And then, of course, before you leave for Australia, we can do pre-departure briefings for you as well. So we, as AUG counselors, we make sure that you are all well equipped before leaving the country. Okay. So here are some examples of the top courses available to international students. So we do have many entries coming in for business, health sciences, even pure sciences, tourism, and hospitality, all that. And then we also have emerging careers or courses. So these are the courses that are getting attraction from different students because they are already emerging careers. Say, for example, in the business side, we have e-commerce and finance. And then, of course, some courses like product design, data science, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. Okay. So probably you are curious to know how you apply to different countries. So this is just a snapshot. In general, this is how we apply. But different courses may still vary. It depends on the requirements of the universities as well. So for Australia, New Zealand, and Singapore, some universities may have February, July, or October intakes. And then students can still apply as late as 3 months before the intake for some courses. Because for those non-quota courses, they can actually, they can actually apply, as late as that. And then you can still process your visa. Hold on. Hello, sorry. And then we also provide students with the application form, or it can be an online application. So we'll guide you through that. And then we will require the grade 12 or senior high school diploma and transcripts, and then SATs if applicable. You have your English language requirements. So some universities, they may not require you the IELTS anymore, whereas some may require so. Then application fees, normally for Australian universities, our application fees are waived. So you don't have to pay all this. But there are still some who might require the application fees. Of course, your passport copies and the statement of purpose for visa purposes. Okay. Next up. Okay. So for Canada, Canada has January, May, and September intakes. So the latest that you can apply for Canada is at least 6 months before the intake, or you must check the deadlines of the university. So it takes a while for your applications for visa for Canada. That's why we recommend that you apply at least 6 months before. But most of our students, we let them apply probably about 1 whole year before the intake, or as soon as the application window opens. And then almost the same requirements, all of this. Yep. And then next would be USA. So some of you may be familiar with the Common App. So for most of the USA universities, they require that you apply through Common App. Whereas for those partners of AUG, so we do have those that offer pathways to the different universities, or they offer year 1 entry, and then you apply, we can apply directly. You don't need to go through Common App. There. Okay. Then for UK, so UK also AUG represents also a lot of UK institutions. So we allow direct applications for some UK institutions. So you just speak to your education counselor which universities or institutions that you want. And then there's also via the UCAS, or the University College Admission System. So AUG is also a UCAS application center. So your counselor, with the help of your teachers or career counselors, we can submit your application. Okay, so these are some of the generic requirements for your UCAS application. So there's, for UCAS, you need a current academic result, and then IELTS results if applicable, then one academic reference, and then one personal statement. You need to take note of the limit in the characters, and then there's a UCAS fee. That's £22 for one choice and 26.5 for two or more choices. So UCAS allows you up to 5 choices. For other courses like medicine, dentistry, they will only allow you up to 4 choices. Okay. Next would be, how do I apply for the important dates for UK also? So for the UCAS system, there's a deadline for some of the courses, like for example for medicine. So the application window opens by September 15 for the UK. And then the deadline for medicine courses or vet courses and dentistry would be October 15. And then January 15 is the closing date for all courses. So submission to this guarantees your application will be reviewed by the university. Other important dates to consider: March 24, that's for the arts and design course, because some of the arts and design courses require portfolio. And then June 30 is the latest deadline for this is only for international students if they still want to apply to the universities. But of course, there's still what we call extra and the clearing stage. So your counselors will be able to help you with that. Okay. And then this is the best part. There are no charges for our student services. Even the tuition fees, when the universities give you an offer letter, it is what is published in their website or wherever you can find it. Even if you apply directly and then you compare it with the ones with an offer letter with AUG, the rates are the same. So that's how it goes, because they are our partner university or institution. So here is an example of a testimonial of a student that we have sent to University of Melbourne. So this student, Andrea, she went via Trinity College. And then after she finished her Trinity College course, she went to University of Melbourne. Okay. And then we also have our upcoming events. So in August 17, Trinity College will be in our office to speak to students also. So you might want to come over. And then, of course, this August 27. So we have about 20 universities participating in the Study in Australia Fair. So I'll just show you a video. Wait, let me just share my, again, share sound. Okay. Okay, so here are the contact details of AUG. So you can find us in Instagram. You can also message us via our messenger, AUG Philippines, our Skype, or Viber. We also have WhatsApp. And then we also have this virtual office, the phvirtual.augstudy.com. So you can, enter this one. This virtual room is open from 9 to 5 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, and Saturdays 9 to 1 p.m. So yeah, you can take note of this if you want to speak to any of our counselors. It would be best that you can contact us beforehand so you can schedule with an appointment with one of our counselors. Okay. So I guess that concludes my presentation for today. I'm turning you over to one of my colleagues, our partner universities, This is Omu Camus, the in-country representative or country manager of Macquarie University. Hello, Omu.
Hi, thank you, Cheryl, for inviting us and making Macquarie University to be part of this event. Good evening, everybody. My name again is Omu Camus, and I represent Macquarie University. I am the country manager for the Philippines, and my work, I'm basically responsible for overseeing admissions of incoming students and to ensure that the application process is done efficiently, and that's huge thanks to our education partners here in the Philippines as well. So to show you a little bit about more on our school, I would like to give you a virtual tour and show you what the campus is like. Let me share my screen. Sorry.
Welcome to Macquarie University. Did you know that when the Macquarie campus was established more than 50 years ago, it was done with collaboration at its heart? Visionary founders chose a bold location away from the city centre, but an area where they predicted Sydney would boom. They weren't wrong. Our stunning 126-hectare campus is uniquely located in the heart of not only Australia's, but the Southern Hemisphere's largest high-tech precinct. Such a location enables you to connect and collaborate with future employers in some of the country's leading organisations while you're still studying. Through internships and other practical work experiences, as well as through degrees that have been co-designed with industry partners, you'll gain the knowledge and skills you'll need to meet the current and future challenges of your chosen profession. Okay, so it's great that there's an amazing hub of innovation right next door to the campus. But what about the actual campus? Having had more than $1 billion invested in the campus in recent years, Macquarie is home to some of Australia's most exceptional facilities. Our newest building, One Central Courtyard, is where you're going to love spending a lot of your on-campus downtime. Standing atop grassed and paved courtyards, this central hub is home to the iconic U-Bar, as well as 16 food outlets. There's also an awesome terrace that overlooks the lake. Yep, we have a lake. It's also home to our new on-campus student residential accommodation, which features studio, twin and apartment options, communal social areas, and 24/7 on-campus security. If you're in need of some quiet study time, you'll most likely head to the library. Only 10 years old, the library provides access to millions of print and electronic resources. It features group and quiet study areas, computers, printers and copiers, presentation practice pods, and a cafe. If you're into sport and fitness, you're going to love our Sport and Aquatic Centre, which features 2 pools, a gym, courts and fields. Now you're probably wondering what specific facilities are available in your area of study. If you're an arts, law or linguistics student, you're going to seriously enjoy studying in our world-leading spaces. Our new arts precinct features flexible classroom spaces, a language centre, museums, a cafe, atrium and rooftop garden. Our linguistics department offers one of the best equipped research and clinical environments in the world, and we're home to the Macquarie Social Justice Clinic. If you're studying education, you may have access to training through the Mia Mia Child and Family Study Centre, the Special Education Centre, or the Next Sense Institute. As a business student, you'll have access to our Finance Decision Lab, a collaborative space that facilitates hands-on financial market simulations and workshops. If you're studying engineering, you have opportunities to be involved in real projects, like working on a go-kart or the MQ Speed Team's human-powered vehicle. If IT, games design, development, or cybersecurity are your thing, you'll be kept busy in our industry-leading computing precinct with cybersecurity, networking, and gaming labs. For Media Bus, you'll hone your skills in our multi-million-dollar media hub, professional screen, recording, music, radio, and performance studios, and an industry-standard digital newsroom. If you're undertaking a health, medical, or psychology degree, you could be studying alongside experts from MQ Health and Cochlear. or within our simulation hub, anechoic chamber, or even our on-campus hospital, physiotherapy suites, or new clinical education building. As a science student, you can't do much better than studying in some of the best physics, molecular sciences, biology, and environment labs in Asia Pacific. And one last facility that's very important to us is the Walungamuru Pavilion. Macquarie recognises the custodianship of the land on which our campus is situated. The Wallamatical plan of the Darwin Nation and the Walungamuru Pavilion is a gathering place for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students, staff. How do I get from one facility to the next, you ask? Down Wally's Walk, named after Macquarie Abraham. This central pathway runs the entire and I'm sure you'll agree, our campus is pretty spectacular. We can't wait to see you here sometime soon. To book a campus tour, visit mq.edu.au/campus-tours.
So I hope you guys like what's awaiting for you in Sydney. If you notice or if you're wondering why the campus is that big and how it's possible that it's in Sydney, it is actually 30 minutes away from the Central Business District. But based from our current students and our alumni who have experienced student life in Macquarie, they all did not notice the distance at all because it's almost a city on its own. And later on, I'll be going through some advantages of why Macquarie is actually one of the most attractive education institutions in the Philippines. So let me bring you back to my screen for a quick presentation just to show you also what programs are very attractive to the Filipino students. Okay. Is this visible to everybody?
Yes, it's good for me.
Okay, cool. All right. So as mentioned earlier, there are so many international opportunities for our students, especially now that parents are becoming more progressive in terms of planning how they're going to invest in their children's education. So I'm going to walk you through a few of the best of the advantages in an Australian education system. So first, the government policies are very protective. In our experience of handling Australian Filipinos coming through the Australian schools, satisfaction is very high because their students are very secure. So student satisfaction is always maintained at highest. We have very minimal discrimination reports. If you've heard about recent news in the US, there's no shooting in Australia, and that's one of the things that parents now are asking about, considering the recent events that they have heard of. So in Australia, there's fortunately there have not any reports on that, and that's something that we take pride in and something that we always like to talk about. World-class education system, definitely. We also noticed that, and I like sharing with you actual experiences of our alumni, because post-graduation, once they start exploring more opportunities, not just in Australia, but even in countries like the US or Europe, when they say that they graduated from Macquarie University, the school is recognized. So it makes a difference between like our students who have who have graduated in the Philippines. Sometimes even if they graduated from top unis in here locally, once they start seeking opportunities abroad, it is not as recognized as for when you are graduates of worldly ranked universities. And you'd be happy to know that, as Ms. Cheryl mentioned earlier, there are more and more students who are becoming rank conscious in terms of the schools that they choose. Macquarie University is in the top 1% of the schools, not just in Australia, but in the world. All right. So, and that just makes sense that for our students, they are most likely to have high starting salaries and quality part-time work opportunities. Another thing that has been always been mentioned with regards to why they like Australia is the weather. It gets really cold, but at the same time, on a normal day, it's pretty much just like how it is in Baguio. So you get a good amount of sun, but you're not melting, just as here in Metro Manila. All right. In terms of our degrees, they're very much well designed to be more friendly, particularly for the international community as we see it continuously expanding. So these are employability focused programs that do not just benefit you during your enrollment period, but also we look at our students in a more holistic perspective, meaning after you graduate, we already project which kinds of work and which kinds of employers would you most likely be working with. So if you visit our website and you just go to find a course, you will see that you can actually go through buttons such as career outcomes. And whenever we counsel our students, it's one of the things that I encourage the students to do. You always, in choosing the program for you, it's not just about your interest, but also what you're going to get out of it. And I love that feature that you get to see what careers would be available to you after graduation, because there's so many positions in Australia and in the international arena that's not available in the Philippines. And even I am surprised with how progressive it is as it continuously changes every year. And it's great because it's very much fitting for as our students get younger and younger every year as well. So safety and lifestyle. If you guys are wondering if what they say is true about Australians being laid back, that is pretty much true. For instance, I remember the first time I was working in the Australian school and realized that they have 8 subjects per year, and that means you're studying 4 subjects per semester. And for those who have, for those in the audience at the moment who's had a taste of what it's like to be going through per quarter, we know that we do more than 4 subjects per study period. All right. In terms of environment, of course, it's safe and multicultural, as Australia is one of the most progressive countries in the world celebrating diversity. And this is one of the reasons why we are very welcoming of international students. And I'm very happy to say that a huge percentage is already being comprised by Filipino promising potentials who are really seeking out to be very good students in different universities. Student experience and student support is also well commended in Australia. We have counselors for all sorts of concerns. I remember for February intake, we had several seminars onshore just to help students adjust to what student living is like, what student life is like, coming from countries like the Philippines, who came from a series of lockdowns that pretty much limited us from exposure for at least a year. So you can just imagine the kind of adjustment and the kind of support that our onshore team was able to give our incoming students. And as mentioned earlier, we are third in the world in terms of our international students. So there's a lot of comfort if you're wondering if you're going to be feeling homesick or if you're going to be feeling alone. I don't think that's going to be the case. I've had students who came in fresh from graduating from grade 12, and they were able to settle in pretty fast. All right, so now many of our students, some of them, especially those who are graduates of grade 12, they still get they still get a bit surprised with the idea of being able to work alongside their studies, especially those who are taking up their bachelors, because in the Philippines, that's very rare. Those students who are usually working while studying is because they need the money to help them sustain their education or their living in the Philippines. But in Australia, the trend is that you're encouraged to put into practice what you're studying in class. So then this is what makes Macquarie an even more attractive school for our for our students, because as you notice, it's in the middle of a business precinct. And here you will see different companies that you must be familiar with, particularly Microsoft, Philips, Johnson and Johnson, you have Fujitsu, and others. So you can just imagine also the kind of part-time work opportunities that will be available to you, not only to help you sustain your living in Australia, but also to really maximize your exposure to your potential employers and to other work opportunities. All right. So as earlier I said, the school is about 30 minutes away from the Central Business District. That's because everything is made easier by an efficient transportation system. As you can see, Macquarie University has its own train station. That's another, and this is another view. So it makes it easier for you to navigate through the city and through Sydney in general. All right. So okay, and what we love about the programs at the moment is that these courses, as mentioned earlier, they're very employability focused. And so what we're also doing in helping the course designs is to also check which work opportunities around the world are going to help our students get to an excellent point of their work opportunities. So here are some of the areas of studies that might be of interest to you, and you will see that it's a pretty good spectrum of what you might want to be studying onshore. So we have arts and social sciences, business courses, which still proves to be one of the strongest and most attractive program in the Philippines, education, engineering, information technologies, and etc. So later on, I'm going to maybe share with you a link because what I like about Macquarie at the moment is that we're celebrating, we've been heavily marketing the double degrees. So our students who are graduates of both grade 12 and those incoming for the masters get to enjoy the same study period, but are able to graduate with 2 different degrees. So for our bachelors, normally in Australia, the study period is 3 years. For the masters, it's 2 years. Okay. Okay, so for our entry requirements, for the bachelors, we're only going to need your high school diploma. If you guys are if you guys have an IB or graduates of IB, then we will just need your score range and your school completion letter. We will need your signed application form, your passport copy, your finalized transcript of records, and your statement of purpose. So these documentations, as mentioned by Ms. Cheryl earlier, this is one of the reasons why we work closely with our education partners in the Philippines. Their main role is to ensure that your admission documents are properly filed, and so that in terms of getting your offer letters, in terms of fulfilling all the conditions in the offer, to make sure that you have your full offer without the conditions, eventually leading for you to settle your fees and then to get issued your COEs. These are some of the things that sound easy, but but it will actually be a little bit, it will become tedious as you go through the process. And so what your education counselor can do for you, and what they have been helping us do as well in terms of the admissions process, is to ensure that we don't encounter the smallest errors, and usually that's what affects or delays an application process. So I'm not sure if Miss Cheryl was able to mention, but the services are free. As an education partner, their main responsibility is to take care of our students, which they have been doing excellently in the last years. All right, for the masters, if we have any students here who will be taking up the master's programs, again, it's very similar. We just need your completed or your fulfilled transcript of records from college, your diploma, signed application form for Macquarie, your statement of purpose, and your passport copy. For English language requirements, I believe, again, just to reinforce what Ms. Cheryl said earlier, for most schools in the Philippines, we're able to waive the IELTS requirement. So you don't have to worry so much about having to retake the test. So what you're going to do is, instead of taking the IELTS, you can request your certificate of medium of instruction from the schools that you have graduated from. Okay, so for admissions, what you will need to be learning more about is the overseas health coverage, which is a requirement in Australia. And these are some of the things that your counselor will be helping you with as well. So once you've settled your OSHC, your tuition fees, then we're able to issue your certificates of enrollment, which is what you're going to use to lodge your visa application. All right. In terms of your refunds, I believe this will be better discussed once your admissions process have started or once you've decided to pursue your studies in Macquarie. All right, so you're very lucky to be here today because you're going to be hearing about the scholarship programs that we're offering. So just for being Asian, and if everyone here are Filipino passport holders, then it's great to know that you are automatically eligible for the $10,000 per year Asian scholarship. So this means that if you're going to be taking a bachelor's program, then that's $10,000 every year, totaling to $30,000 worth of scholarship. So in average, the tuition fees would be about 30,000 to 39,000 Australian dollars per year. So minus 10,000, then you're down to 20 to $29,000 per year, depending on the program that you're going to be choosing. Okay. So this February 2022 was the first time we welcomed our students. As you may notice that this is also the same year when the Australian borders opened. And here, I just wanted to give emphasis to the Filipino Student Society of Macquarie, which is a Filipino-driven organization that is recognized and supported and funded by Macquarie University. So for our students, even before you leave, we will be able to connect you to our officers from the organization who are currently enrolled students as well. So the power of building your network starts even before you leave the Philippines. It's always nice to start connecting, so that when you get there, there's a lot of support that you're getting, not just from the school, but from your fellow students who have already experienced the campus and living in Australia in general. All right, so again, earlier, as we said, we have a very holistic perspective in terms of raising our students. So what we really want to do is to help you maximize your potential through these channels, so that after you graduate, you really also maximize your opportunities that will be leading you to quality jobs and to employers that you really enjoy working for. All right, so keeping a very good network, you can almost trust that you will be in the hands of very good and commendable companies, such as this list that you're seeing on your screens right now. So depending on the program that you will be taking, we can walk you through your possible career outcomes, and then eventually we have career counseling services in Macquarie that can actually help you or lead you to openings. They have a wide range of lists every year for our students. And so you can sit down with a counselor in school and just, have a check with which jobs are available at the moment, whether it be part-time or jobs that you want to do full-time already. Because as you may know, upon graduation in Australia, you get to stay for 3 more years. So in the past, post-study work visa is valid for 2 years, but it has been extended until further notice. So at the moment, it's up to 3 years now. All right. So these are some options also if you wish to stay within the campus. We have the Macquarie University Village and several more other accommodation options for you guys. And as Ms. Cheryl said, if you guys work with AUG, as our education partner, they will be able to assist you as well with your accommodation arrangements, depending on your living demands or your living preferences, and as well as your budgets. So in terms of experience, guys, I think it was mentioned in the video earlier that we have about 16 cafes and restaurants in campus. We have a fitness center. We have various activities that will really help you not just work through your mental health, but as well as your physical well-being. All right. And once you have confirmed your enrollments, these are some of the support services that Macquarie offers for you. So as you may notice that even before you start your classes, we really are all out in making sure that you feel pretty well welcomed in the campus. Okay, so during your orientation week, just as it is important here in the Philippines, this is highly encouraged that you guys attend. So once again, you've decided to pursue your studies in Macquarie, we will start walking you through what you will need to prepare for events like this one. And orientation week is a big event for the university because this is where you're able to start to build your life and to kind of envision how you're going to manage your living in Sydney. All right, so just sharing more pictures with the Filipino Student Society of Macquarie University. These guys, they're very savvy. They're not just, they did not limit their networks in Macquarie University alone. They're actually making friends with other Filipino students in other universities. So again, it's always nice to establish your network and start expanding them as early as possible, because that's also where you guys get to participate in different activities in and outside the campus. All right, so that concludes my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I didn't take so much of your time. And I will be giving the stage back to Miss Nix. Hi, Nix.
Hi po. Oh, thank you so much for that informative presentation. Thank you, Miss Omo, and thank you, Miss Cheryl, for that. I think we have a bit of time for our Q&A portion, so I can try to read out the questions. And I think Miss Cheryl has also answered a few, so I think the rest are for Miss Omo naman. Okay, so okay, this question is how is Macquarie part of the AUG in-person study fair? What other universities are coming? So any of yes.
Yeah, I can answer that. So yes, Macquarie is part of the fair, and I can actually, because I have a slide here like this. Can you see my screen, Rita?
Yes, we can see your
You
screen.
see the PowerPoint? No.
Yes, we can see it.
Wait, here. So we have here University of Canberra, there's Macquarie, Southern Cross, University of Sydney, UNSW, UTS, Wollongong, and we have ACU, Griffith, QUT, so all this. And then we also have them, Deakin, Federation, so all this. If you want to get the list from us, I'd be happy to provide a list to Nix or Camp, so that you'll be able to share it with the students also if they want that list.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer, Miss Cheryl. For the next question, I think this is for Miss Omu. Is it possible to study in Australia with a full ride scholarship?
Actually, we've had students who applied for various scholarships with the help of the Philippine government. So I think that's worth looking into. But in terms of the school, what the school can offer at the moment, the maximum that we have is the ASEAN scholarship, which is worth $10,000. Plus, if you guys have excellent grades and you have like an average point above 93, then I can help nominate you for an additional scholarship worth 5,000. So that's worth $15,000 for the first year, because the 5,000 comes from the VCIS, which is called the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship, which is the only grant that can be combined with the ASEAN scholarship. So If you guys, again, if you're confident about your grade point average, please let your counselor know straight away, so that even before we process your admissions, we can already apply for the VCIS, because the ASEAN scholarship is automatic. Once you submit your passport copy showing that you're a Filipino citizen, the $10,000 is automatically applied in your offer letters.
Thank you so much for your answer, Miss Omu. All right, so I think we won't be able to extend, so we'll probably have to have like 1 or 2 more questions answered, if that's all right. And then you can leave your contact details if ever in the chat box, or share screen it again, because we have another Zoom meeting after this. So I think one question we can fit in is, what kind of student is Macquarie University looking for?
Well, as I said earlier, we really are into equality and diversity. So, since Australian education is basically document based, we just need to satisfy the requirements. But I'm not sure which particular student standard the question was all about. But as much as possible, we're very much welcoming of any student who's looking out for what he or she thinks would be a good program for them. So then that leads me to encourage everybody to schedule your counseling sessions, so that if you have your program in mind or a program of interest, or even if, because we've had students before who starts with counseling with the career they have in mind. So they list down their dream jobs, and then we work around that. So that's also one of the fun things that we can do during counseling sessions.
Thank you so much for that insightful answer, Miss Omu. But okay, we probably might have to cut it short. We have like around like more than 20 questions, but with our current time, we won't be able to cater to all. So if possible, can you both leave any contact details or any links that would be helpful, so that our attendees can be redirected to you both, because you both have very interesting programs. I'm personally very interested in researching and knowing more about Macquarie and also AUG student services. So feel free to leave those contact details in the chat box for everyone to see. I can give you time right now to do that.
Okay. I think while Miss Cheryl will be inputting the contact details, there's a very interesting question that I saw. Letters of recommendation, extracurriculars, personal essays, there's no need. I am telling you, it's as laid back as what you hear from from friends or family. So we don't require those documents anymore. We're more focused on what you really want to get out of your education. So book your counseling services, book your appointment, then we can start either, looking at your program of interest or the career where you imagine yourself to be.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Miss Omu. Okay. So I think Miss Cheryl was able to forward all the contact details, if that's good. Yes. Or is there still more? Okay, no worries.
Yeah, that's about it. Thanks, Nick. Yeah.
All right. Okay. So we're gonna wrap it up. So I hope everyone has enjoyed this 1 hour. Although medyo bitin lang, we'll definitely have more time for that. And of course, you guys can personally contact Miss Omu and Miss Cheryl for more questions. So thank you so much again to our speakers, Miss Cheryl and Miss Omu, and to our participants. We hope you learned something new, and encourage you all to keep in touch with AUG Student Services and Macquarie University. So we'll see you at our next event. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.